So when it comes to Dfinity, it seems like based off a recent post that they made, it could have very well hinted at the fact that the full-on launch of the Model Context Protocol, which is going to greatly strengthen and bolster the Internet Computer's narrative when it comes to AI, by the way, it seems like they might even be closer than we expected when it comes to actually launching the full-on launch of the Model Context Protocol, which could really impact the Internet Computer in a pretty profound way. So it seems like it's getting closer to me. But I'll discuss that in today's video, and I'll talk about the impact that it could do for maybe, hypothetically, the Internet Computer, and I'll talk about the price later too. However, I first want to clarify, this is just my personal perspective. I am not telling anyone to do anything, and nothing I say is financial advice. So if we take a look at it, Dfinity, they recently made a post saying how the Model Context Protocol is only in beta. So it's basically kind of still in the testing phase. And they say that they're already seeing impressive use of the technology. So let's just take this into consideration. If they're already seeing impressive use of it, if they're already seeing it actually, do pretty okay in the testing mode, so to speak, that sometimes hints at the fact that they could very well be closer to actually fully launching it. Because imagine if they made a post and they said, oh, we discovered so many issues and all this, then that's not a good thing. That means we're probably delayed, right? When it comes to seeing the full-on launch. But it doesn't seem like that. It seems like because it went so well, like the testing mode, so to speak, because of that, to me, it feels like they might be really close to launching the full-on Model Context Protocol. Now, people like to say, what is that? Why does it even have an aspect of AI? Now, we have to take this into consideration. The Model Context Protocol, it's basically this bridge, right, so to speak. I'm just going to use this as an analogy, but it's basically this bridge, or should I say it acts as a bridge between any Model Context Protocol compatible AI assistant and the Internet Computer blockchain. Now, why does this matter? Because individuals can add, right, their Internet Computer Model Context Protocol connector to things like Claude, ChatGPT and all that, which inherently is going to help impact and help increase the AI narrative when it comes to the Internet Computer and by extension Dfinity. Why is that a bad thing? And as we all know, AI, it's such a massive narrative. It just hasn't really entered into this space in such a massive way yet, but it's largely due to the fact that the market overall isn't doing the best. But I'm saying Dfinity, it's trying to prepare for that. It's trying to prepare for that hypothetical wave. So again, if I see a post by Dfinity saying how the Model Context Protocol is only in beta, basically in the testing phase, right? And how they're already seeing impressive use of the technology, it showcases to me that even in the testing phase as of right now, things are seemingly already pretty good. So if things are pretty good, usually the full-on launch could very well be near in some cases. It's like if the test drive went so well, usually the client tries to buy the vehicle in some cases. That's what I've realized. So when it comes to Dfinity, again, they're not playing around. They're actually trying to do things. The Internet Computer, okay, yeah, it's still at around $2. It hasn't really moved much in the past 24 hours. However, what I'm seeing right there goes far beyond this, because keep in mind, the Internet Computer may be at around $2, but the fundamentals, it doesn't reflect this. Like in a sense where if we take a look at the peak of the Internet Computer at almost $19 in 2024, and we compare it to right now, of course, the journey back to there, it's going to be around 9 times, right? And even though we're so low compared to that, I would arguably say that the Internet Computer currently, despite being around $2, is at least a couple times better than in 2024 at its peak that year at almost $19. The reason why is because there's Caffeine AI version 3 in 2026. There's OEC version 2.5 in 2026. When you take a look at them being so close to launching the Model Context Protocol in terms of the full-on launch, that's apparently happening in 2026. And also, let's take this into consideration. They're apparently going to be launching cloud engines soon. And through cloud engines, that's their sort of way to kind of try to tap into the cloud market, which is currently worth around $1 trillion. Furthermore, They're looking to launch multi-decks, and they did announce multi-decks this year, to my understanding. So in 2026, we have to consider this has been arguably, in my opinion, the most massive year for this project so far. I really do think so. Now, is it the best year in terms of the price charts? No, right? Because, I mean, the all-time low is around $1.98. As of right now, we're at around $2. So I can't say that the price is doing good at all. But in terms of the actual core fundamentals, this is the best it's ever been, I think, in my opinion. So how does that make sense? A project became better, yet the price charts are nearing all-time low levels. How does that make sense? Now, in real life, that's not typically how it works. Like, for instance, if I walk inside a store, if let's say the product becomes better, it usually doesn't become cheaper. Like, how does that make sense? Something became better, yet it became cheaper? Like, what the? Yeah, again, it just doesn't make sense. But when it comes to this space, it sometimes works that way. Like, in a sense where a project can be doing so good, but the market isn't doing the best, it's just going to go down either way. But it doesn't mean that it's hypothetically always stuck like that, unless, of course, it closes up shop. But I'm just saying, as long as the project doesn't like close down or whatever, I've just never seen a permanent bear market ever when it comes to this space. I've just never seen it. I've seen projects come and go. I've seen exchanges leave and all this, or should I say close up shop. But I've never seen a permanent bear market ever. So as long as the computer could just make it through a market downturn, I don't see any reason for me to really be so upset. Just because the computer, it's proven itself. In 2024 and 2025, it showcased that, this is not a project that's forgotten about like that. It's still quite relevant. It's just the market hasn't been doing the best. So it already has that track record. And also on top of that, it's just way better than before, fundamentally. So that's why when it comes to this, I'm just still holding. I mean, okay, I'm not having to do it. Like, it's not something I have to do, it's purely voluntary. But the reason why I don't mind is because I just like what I'm seeing fundamentally. And if we consider this, the computer does not need to reach such a high bar, because I think there's been a misconception at times when people like to say, well, if the computer never overtakes Solana or BNB, that means it's a failure. I disagree with that. This is just some food for thought for me, right? November of last year. Was it a good time for altcoins? Keep in mind, that's just less than a year ago. Not really when it comes to November of last year. And guess what though? The computer, the journey back to November of last year, it's over 4 times, around 4.5 times basically, because we're at around $2. It reached around $9 in November of last year. Like, what the? It just reached $9 casually. It's not even that difficult when it comes to the computer historically. So it showcases just how low we are. To the point that if it could just even recover to a previous baseline, which wasn't even that good anyways, I'm already going to Sizzler, the restaurant. It's just a figure of speech, right? I mean, in theory, why not just go to a restaurant right now, personally? But, going to Sizzler is just kind of like a moment of hypothetical celebration. It's kind of like going to Chili's. You remember how Michael Scott really loves Chili's? That's just the way I take a look at it. Michael Scott from The Office, of course. But me, I prefer Sizzler. He prefers Chili's, I like Sizzler. However, even besides all that, seeing Dfinity talk about how the model context protocol, even in the testing phase, has gone so well, that to me at least kind of showcases how if it's gone so well even in the testing phase, that could very well give a hint and a clue as to how the full-on launch could very well be soon. Just because the testing phase has gone so well. So I like seeing how they made that post. However, I'll be sure to make more updates moving forward when it comes to Intercomputer. I want to say thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a very wonderful and fantastic day. It's been Lee the Captain. I'm out. Peace. Bye.